Yay, it's Friday. Friday fun day, right? And I hope that you are finding some fun in your day. So, the theme of today is joy and inspiration, right? Where do you find joy? Where do you find inspiration? I just wanted to start off by saying I'm grateful that you clicked on this video, and I'm sorry if my cat gets in the way. I put up a new background. This background is kind of cool. And what it is, I'll scoot over a little bit so you can see it. This is a wall in a town I used to live in, Winona, Minnesota. And it's in an alley. And I took this picture and printed it out and made some pictures for in the house. So I thought I'd use it as a background. I'm having too much fun with all the gadgets and gizmos and things like that. So anyway, we are created in God's image to create, and every story, every idea, and act of beauty reflects His glory. And I think people who are creative, it's like the enemy will do whatever he can to squish it, to make you feel like you shouldn't share it, that you're too much, you're not good enough, you don't have anything to say. You should just be quiet and sit in the corner. You ever feel that way? I think creatives really, I think we're all on some level creative in some way. I think even if you're running a business on a corporate level, you have to be creative and come up with creative ideas to run that business. If you're a nurse in a hospital in the ER, you have to figure out how to creatively comfort an individual. Creativity isn't limited to painting and crafts and, songwriting, movie stars. That's not the limit or be all and end all of creativity. I believe that reading and writing saved my life as a child, coming from a very abusive childhood. And I remember the first time I heard a poem, and it was a limerick poem, and I was fascinated. I was like, something in me just lit up. The first time I walked into a school library, it was like something leapt in me, like, this is where I belong. And I'll never forget reading Black Beauty. I'll never forget reading Charlotte's Web or The Borrowers. These books took me out of my environment and into, yes, a place of safety in my head where life wasn't so complicated or scary. And it always makes me sad when people would say, I hate to read. I still don't like it. And that's okay. But there's other ways to be creative. Being great on a skateboard or some kind of athletic thing. You have your own creative way of doing that makes you an individual. Those are the golden threads of God, I believe, showing up inside of each of us, His children, His creation. We are. So, yeah, journaling and books have always been huge for me. I started writing really bad poetry, writing really bad limericks and poetry, and then as a teenager got very, dark and, yeah, pathetic for a while, but it was all good and healing, getting all that out and putting it on paper instead of stuffing it back down. There was plenty of stuff down, but some of it was alleviated through those activities that I gravitated to. I think we naturally gravitate to different areas. I have a daughter who sings. I have a daughter who was very creative with any kind of textile, like crocheting, sewing, painting even, and just multi-talented in that way. I see creativity in all my children and how they've used it individually. So that's also in you. And so Friday, fun day, let's talk about creativity and or books. Make it a book talk. We can do that right now. So I love a good book. And I figure if I finish a book, it's pretty decent. It was okay. It was either really good, right up there, or it was readable. And I'm kind of a nitpicky person about books. I know this, but I've had a long time to read. So I'm a little bit picky. And that's okay. I do love a good story. I don't know if you do this, but I love to keep track of, and I started to do this a few times in my life and always got sidetracked and didn't keep up with it. I was raising kids or we were moving. It was always something moving around. But I got this in a book club book. What is the name of it? I did it before COVID. I'll think of the name of it, but it was really cool. You get a book and you have like inside the book there's little stickers, and in this box you get different gifts you get to open up when you get to that page in the book. And I loved it because this was one of the gifts you pay for. It's like, I think it was like $65 a month or something. I have to remember the name of that book club, but and if you know it, then put it in the comments. But anyway, this one I've really stuck with. Great classic books, Great Expectations, which that was one of the first big classic books I read when I was younger, and Once Upon a Time Book Club. That's the name of it. I feel so dumb sometimes. We need never be ashamed of our tears. Isn't that beautiful? But many of us are, right? Took me a long time to be even able to cry tears. I was not able to cry until salvation. I was so bottled up as a kid, I couldn't cry, couldn't shed a tear. Just anger, just a lot of anger, but God took care of that and healed me. I got this after COVID in July 7/13/2020, and I've been keeping track of books. 2024 was a banger of a year, even though I moved. I was like, I read that many books. There's some in here, and I love it because, like, there's books I read that I didn't. I will pick up books, just because it looks interesting. I'll name one. In 2020, it was Astrid and Veronica by Linda Austen. If you come across that book or you find it, I'll read it. It's Astrid and Veronica. I absolutely loved it. I have in here, powerful in its quiet beauty and sadness. The Beauty in Breaking by Michelle Harper was actually a second book, and that one is a nonfiction. The other one, there was another one that had the name Veronica in it. Was it the first one? Yeah, How the Penguin Saved Veronica. That was actually the book that came with this. And I wasn't sure. I'd never heard of this author, but this is what I wrote. The title is cute, but does not say, read this book. I've never shared my notes, so I don't know. I really enjoyed this story as it revealed the deeper why of an 83-year-old woman and how she had become who she is, the sorrows she carried and how they hardened her, and her adventure to Antarctica, which was really cool. But I also like the character of the long-lost grandson she locates and who shows up for her. Bravo is what I put. So I like that book a lot. Recently, I just put the newest one in. And I got this book while I was at Intermission Books. I like to pick up, if I go into a independent bookstore, I like to pay full price for a book to support what they're doing. They're making books available to their community and books that might not otherwise reach a reader. And I like the fact that they had the old and the new mixed together. And if you watch that video, you see why they did that. But I did get it because it was on my TBR, to be read list. And it wasn't quite what I expected. So it's readable. I gave it 3 stars. That's a lot. I'm surprised I gave it 3 because it just kind of, I don't want to give you too much. I don't want to discourage you from reading it. You might really enjoy it, but there was a lot of repetition in it for me that it got annoying to me as a reader. There was this darkness about it almost. I don't know how to say it. I wrote this, readable, too much description, very descriptive telling instead of showing. I like dialogue. I like for a story to move fast. I do like Michener. I don't know if you know who Michener is, but he's the one who writes these great tomes about different, like Hawaii and Colorado, and they're very descriptive, and I've read those books and been able to get through them. This was very descriptive, but it bored me because it felt like filter. It felt like adding it over and over, and I don't really appreciate that kind of writing very much. and could be said in a shorter amount of words. I really had no emotional connection with any of the characters, and I think that's really where the story failed. Yeah, not one of them. It was what I call a convenient ending. It wrapped the story up, and I could go on, but I won't. But this was the most recent, and I'll probably be selling it on eBay. That's too bad. But there's a lot of great ones, too. I'll tell you who I loved in 2024, and I read every book I could find of his, and Amor Towles, I think that's how you say his name, and I apologize if I did not say it correctly. I did. I read all of his books, and I hope he writes another one soon. He did A Gentleman in Moscow, and they made it into a show or a series, and I loved it. I think it was on Peacock or Paramount. I watched with my daughter, but I watched that, and I had to look him up because I liked the show so much, the series, and I found out he also wrote several other books, and so I had to read them. And his last name spelled Towles, and first name Amor, Amor, like Amor. A Table for Two is one of them. I have them over in my bookcase. I should have just brought them over, but anyway. I read all of his books, and I highly recommend him. The Lincoln Highway was one of his books, and what a great writer. Loved it. So right now, I have several books that I pulled out that I'm deciding which one to read, and I'd like to also recommend this little Streams in the Desert. If you are looking for a devotional and you want a really good one, this is by L.B. Cowman, and I had an old leather one years ago, and I don't know if I gave it to somebody or what happened to it, but I found this in the thrift store, and it's brand new. I mean, it's just beautiful, and I was so excited and realized, oh, he edited it for our generation, because the original I think was done in the 1920s. It's really good. It's short, though there's so much in every single one of them. I recommend that for a devotional book. Okay, so I've had this on my shelf for a long time, this particular book by Jane Austen, Emma. I love Emma, I do. And the most recent adaptation is probably my favorite. If you get a chance to watch it, if you like Austen, I highly recommend it. My favorite book and movie adaptation of Austen's is Northanger Abbey, and if you like those kind of books, and I do, Good Cup of Tea, and Jane Austen and me. Yeah, that sounds so. This is one I just started, and I was glad to get kind of back to it. These two have been on my shelf forever, and this one's done in Texas. So Larry Montgomery, this has also been made into a movie. Both of these have, actually. Yeah, this one too, American Pastoral, not too long ago. So these also, I'm reading all three of them. Okay, there it is, I admit it. I'm reading all three of these, and because usually what happens is I'll start, like, if I get a brand new one, like I did for this one, Medicine Woman in Galveston, if I get started on it, I liked it enough to stick with it. These are books I probably will never give away, but I've been sitting on my shelf, and I know the backstory of all three of them, so I'm not unfamiliar, but I've always wanted to read the book, right? And I keep telling myself that's what I'm going to do, is get through the books on my bookshelf as well, especially in the in-between. Like, I don't have anything glaringly waiting for me to read, so I'm going to read from my to-be-read books. So what are your fall favorite lists? Books and movies. I love a good cozy movie or show. Used to be Gilmore Girls, and now Gilmore Girls is all the fad, and I'm like, I kind of am off that and looking for something new. And I tell you, when Harry Met Sally, and You Got Mail, and there was one more. What kind of carried me through fall into winter, what is the third one? Goes Sleepless in Seattle. Those were my three that I was like really excited to watch, and then Gilmore Girls came out, and I started watching that like religiously. I had all the DVDs and whatnot, and then it just kind of for different various reasons, just kind of lost their oomph. Funny enough, that's never happened with me with It's a Wonderful Life. Still one of my favorite movies at Christmas time. And I like old movies in the winter and fall. Like the old black and whites. Cary Grant is one of my favorite actors as a, classic movie. Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant, quite a few different actors that I like to watch. I used to love to watch some Alfred Hitchcock, because it's just kind of mind scary. It's not like today's gross and blood and guts and gore. They're just kind of mental thrillers, and I like those. So what cozy reads or books do you like to read? I'd love to know. Got any movie suggestions or show suggestions that are good, clean fun? I'm always interested in that. I'm trying to think of some right now. It's just like, except for the ones I mentioned. So this book is really cool. Do you like to cross stitch or do sewing? This is beautiful. And I have been wanting to get into this. I'll just show you some pictures of it. It's just so beautiful. It's called Paint with Thread Through the Seasons by Emily Faris. And I just love it. I mean, this is a book that is just so gorgeous. I'll show you these. Look how beautiful. So these are just so, that's what happens when you use background. Learning something new every day. Gotta hold it back over here. Okay, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? So this I'd like to get back to. Do some repairs around my house, some painting through the winter. That would be nice. What are your goals through the winter for your creative juices to flow? What do you like to do? And there's also some YouTubers who are so creative. I need to start listing them so that I can share them. They're a lot of fun to watch. So I have a devotional journal that I'm working on. I'm a writer, and that's rooted and grounded in love, verse by verse. And you can get a little snippet of that on Sunday video if you want to check out those. But I'm getting close to finishing that. And that's really exciting because I feel like I've been having it come against me as I've tried to finish that. Whether you write or you thrift or you paint or you make things, I am amazed at some of these people who can just go in and they remodel their own kitchen by themselves. I was watching a couple of videos just in the in-between and just shorts, and I was just, wow, that's very, very inspirational to see young women taking control of their environment, making it their own, remodeling it, practically rebuilding it. I'm so proud of them for their tenacity and their creativity. That's amazing. I came across a line in a book just recently, and it said that obedience is a form of worship. And when we're obedient to the call to create, that's a form of worship. God enjoys seeing his children use the gifts that he put in them. I got horns. I got deer horns. Just saw it. Anyway, he loves it when we're being creative. He loves to hear us laugh. He loves to hear joy bubble up out of us. I think it makes him very happy to see his children happy. Aren't you happy when your children are happy? I know I am. Anyway, God bless you. Thank you for stopping by. I hope to share more about writing, and can't wait to get the devotional done because I'm itching to get back to some projects I have that I've been working on and writing. So I'll give you some updates next Funday Friday. Okay, bye.